everyone to Guy and Helmer, Unfiltered, but kind of filtered. I'm your host, Alex Helmer, and with me is my co-host, Guy Noel, as always. Guy, how are you doing on this beautiful Sunday morning?
I'm doing good, Alex. I'm doing good.
Good, fast response. And with us on an even earlier Sunday morning, we have a very special today. He is one half of the Movie Guys. His channel, you can find his channel in the link in the description down below, as well as a featured movie trivia Schmoedown competitor. It's Paul Preston. Paul, how are you doing today?
Well, I don't know. Who does anything at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning? You guys. Where are you? You're clearly not on the West Coast.
No, so we're both Eastern Standard Time Zone, so I'm usually in either New York or DC, either one.
Oh, we're in New York.
So usually Syracuse.
Oh, okay. I'm from Oneonta.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I go to college at Syracuse, so I'm not familiar with the area at all, but good to know there's a fellow upstate New Yorker on the stream.
You're just there for about a couple of months now in school up there?
Yeah. So I go to Syracuse University, so I came back, 2 days ago.
Oh, you're in DC now?
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, you got to explore the area up there. Well,
I know for sure.
It's not amazing, but got to get up to the Adirondacks. Beautiful.
I heard,
Finger Lakes, good little Finger Lakes. Check out Albany, maybe. But yeah, I mean, St. Lawrence, Niagara Falls. There's a lot of upstate New York. That's pretty
classic,
cool.
Yeah. But so today Paul's going to be on. We're going to talk to you guys about Paul's channel, his experiences at MTS, all that jazz. And then we're going to go through a lot of movie news, including a couple great releases that we had of this week, as well as a certain trailer that I know Guy is itching to talk about. Yeah. So, Paul, let's talk about your channel first, because obviously I can see that poster in your background. So the Movie Guys, it started, correct me if I'm wrong, 11 years ago. Was that kind of an informal kind of beginning for the channel?
12, I think. 09.
12. Wow.
When it really started. And it was the kind of thing where I was just writing a bunch of reviews and then sharing them with people, like on Yahoo groups, back in the day.
Yeah.
And then, or via email or something, because I just wanted to share them. And someone said, start a channel, or start a website. So I started a website. And then once you start a website, you start realizing, there could be video, there could be audio, there could be all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And so then the YouTube channel came about, just soon after. And that's been a thing ever since. So there's lots of content on there.
Great. And so how has the channel kind of developed over time? What have you guys started to focus on now on the channel compared to, I know, 12 years ago? But how has everything changed throughout the different kind of eras of your channel, if you will?
I've aged. Outside of that, well, actually, I'm here in my garage. I've turned the garage into a studio, and that's how it started. It was that side of the garage over there. We would do just like a weekly video where we just goof on all the movies that are coming up for that month. Mm-hmm. And then each week we shoot the month's worth of videos and then put one out each week, whatever movies are coming out that weekend. They'd be everywhere from 2 to 8 minutes. Mm-hmm. Just showed all, goofing on everything, mainly jokes. That's something that Adam Witt, one of my cohorts, and I kind of pride ourselves on, are like late night monologue type jokes about the movies. So we would just do fast and funny that. And then after a while, we realized, kind of getting tired of that. Plus, views weren't through the roof or anything. So we went to a live show here in LA at the Second City Hollywood. We did a few shows at the IO West and one show at the Upright Citizens Brigade. But that was a monthly show that just was the same type of thing, except it was a 1-hour live show about all the movies that were coming out that month. It included sketches, included the monologues, songs, whatever we wanted to come up with to goof on all the movies. So those videos are up at a different YouTube page, the Movie Guys Live. You can find all of that. Then it just grew from there. Then we started doing like red carpets, when we can get them. Don't have 1,000 of those, or we show up at like Phoenix Film Festival and do a bunch of filmmaker interviews and a bunch of recaps of each day's screenings. And then after a while, it became podcasting. So I think that was 2012. We ended up at something called the Toad Hop Network. And if you followed the Schmoes, that's where we met them. They were on the same network we were on. So after doing that for about 6 months, I won some money on a game show, true story, and said, hey, I could build a studio in the garage and we don't have to pay this Toad Hop Network every month to host the show. And so, yeah, built the walls that are here and built
Oh,
the, got all the equipment that's here. I mean, there's all sorts of mics and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
been doing that in here since then. And yeah, it's varied from, we did something called the Movie Showcast. We did about 200 episodes of that, and I was super ambitious. It was a 90-minute show full of late night monologue jokes, full of sketches and songs and parodies and fake green lighting meetings or characters and all sorts of stuff, and then based on that week's movies and a different guest. So we had a
Mm-hmm.
different guest every week for 200 episodes. We've taken off for the holidays or whatever, so I was always really proud of that show. And it would start out like, who do we know? Oh, we got a guy who's a super Star Trek fan who's a friend of ours. Great. So he came on and we talked about Star Trek Into Darkness, but it led up to like where we had, Ike Barinholtz and David
Wow.
Krumholtz and Megan Follows and all sorts of other people on the show, which was really fun.
Yeah.
And Mick Foley was on the show. He was
Wow.
which is fun. Yeah. So then it became, that kind of ran its course. Now it's a whole bunch of hodgepodge of stuff. I do something called the TMG Interview. And again, it's kind of like when I can get him. I don't have access to like call Matt Damon and have him come down to my garage and talk to him. But when someone gets on a level where the press release is going to come to the movie guys, I'm going to talk to that person. So, that's included everybody from Ray Parker Jr. to recent interview with Katie Hooten, who was like a producer on Marvel movies. So get them, talk to them about everything they're doing. It's just an interview show, which I kind of dig. I love talking to filmmakers. I mean, the stories are always amazing as to how, the trials of putting a movie out, because it ain't easy. Completion is success, in the world of filmmaking, let alone the response you get. So now, of course, outside of that, because that happens sporadically, Adam and I have embarked on the Ford. I'm going on and on and on forever, but this is all the crap you'll find on the page.
Mm-hmm.
We do something called the Ford Fiesta, which is Adam and I are watching every Harrison Ford movie and putting an episode about each one out. And we started with Dead Heat on a Merry-Go-Round, 1966, I believe, where he had one line, and we're taking it all through Call of the Wild. We just shot the Apocalypse Now episode right in here last night. Actually, the re-inauguration of this space, which kind of, took a crap during COVID and couldn't do much here. So last night was like the first time we were in here in a while. And we had John Kaiser join us. So Kaiser came in,
of
and
course, yeah.
he and Adam got ripped, and we talked about Apocalypse Now. It was really fun. So that'll be coming out soon.
You're in 1979 right now, so you still have a long way to go with these Harrison Ford rewatches.
Yeah, and 1979 doesn't help because he put out 4 movies. He did Star Wars, and then he's like, oh, what kind of star is he going to be? Well, he put out Heroes in the same year, and then Force 10 from Navarone. And then in 1979 alone, he put out More American Graffiti, The Frisco Kid, Hanover Street.
And I love Frisco Kid.
Oh, that makes one of us. And that episode's the newest one. It's out right now, actually. Yeah, a lot of people chime in that they like it. For me, it was kind of, they missed a lot of opportunities to be hilarious. Although it's a decent enough Western, I suppose.
Yeah.
So 4 movies alone in 1979 as we tried to figure out what kind of star he was going to be. And then he did Empire Strikes Back. And I think it was Raiders of the Lost Ark that really said, this guy is your leading man. And then we get on the greatest hits of Empire, Raiders, Blade Runner, Jedi, Temple of Doom, Witness, Mosquito Coast, Frantic, Working Girl. I mean, it's just a rock solid resume from then on. So yeah, it's going to get fun.
For sure.
And lastly, there's a streaming show, because Adam and I never did a streaming show called Movie Nonsense. We do every Monday at 3:00, and it's just more of our kind of venturing into the comedy aspect, trying to write weird and funny sketches and videos. And we do something called a To and From, where we just shoot ourselves going into a movie and right after we come out to give our thoughts on the film. And we did that for Shang-Chi, and we did it for No Time to Die, and we did it to like going to see John Williams at the Bowl. We saw the Black Panther in concert show here at the Bowl as well. So anyway, if you're not sold, I got nothing for you, because I've told you everything that what we're doing. So check it out. It's it's super fun, and now clearly it's got a ton of variety, and even the archives are interesting. Some of the movies are not fresh. If you watch an old like movie showcast episode, that'll be old movies, but movies are forever, so the jokes are still funny.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And then now, sorry, I'm gonna go to Guy next. Was gonna ask. So it seems like you do a lot of gags, a lot of sketches, like you said. And so Guy's actually he's a stand-up comedian. He's done a lot of stand-up routines. So I'm gonna go to Guy now. If you had any questions for Paul, because
I had a question.
Yeah.
Is that a Rodney Dangerfield bobblehead?
It is. And Kaiser went nuts for it yesterday.
Oh my god. That is so cool.
All right, let's listen in together, shall we? Because there's a button.
That is so awesome.
There's a button. Here we go.
I mean, there's always something. My wife's father, he just moved in too, has electronic pacemaker every time he sneezes, the garage door opens. I mean, today's been a terrible day. Got up this morning, picked up my shirt, the button fell off. A briefcase, the handle fell off. I'm afraid to go to the bathroom.
That's amazing.
Wow, that's a high quality bobblehead. That's not your regular bobblehead.
Yeah.
That is
more of a mechanical puppet. I think he'd be offended if you call him a bobblehead. Hey, no respect.
Sure. Exactly. I checked the family tree. It turns out I'm the set. No.
Hey, I got on top of my wife the other day. Wanted to plant a flag. She's large, is what I'm saying. She's a big woman. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll just go to Guy now because, obviously, I guess you two have that comedy kind of connection. And Guy, I know, has done a lot of stand-up. He's very passionate about it. So I'm going to go to Guy now.
I mean, I don't have many questions. He just seems like a cool guy. It just seems like...
Who's your favorite stand-up?
My favorite stand-up is Buddy Hackett, which is an old one.
No kidding. That is some old school.
But I love Buddy Hackett.
Clearly you're a young guy to know and tune into Buddy. Means,
old soul.
Means you went out of your way to find him, and that's
a lot of people say to me, Guy, you're like an 87-year-old Jew trapped in a 17-year-old semi-prepubescent Jew's body, which is true.
Hey, but as long as that Jew's Buddy Hackett.
Exactly, that's the
funny guy. I just watched It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Oh my god, I watched that recently too.
I mean, I've seen it 100 times, but I showed it to my girlfriend for the first time. She hadn't seen it. That movie is just insane. He's so funny.
Yeah.
The way I figured it. Yeah.
But
Buddy's pretty blue, right? A lot of people don't know that too, right?
Yeah.
He had a lot of blue material.
Yeah. But anyways, now before we get to the movie news, now we're going to talk a bit more about MTS. So before we get to your kind of career within the Schmoedown, did you know beforehand that, hey, I could compete in general trivia at a more professional, competitive level? Or is it something you got into right when you met the Schmoes and you were kind of signed on to be part of the Schmoedown?
No, we met the Schmoes when we were on the same podcast network. And then it wasn't for, honestly, 7 years later.
Yeah.
I got I kept Mark and Christian on my newsletter for the movie guys, where I would just send out, every month what we're up to. Here's the interviews we've done and the comedy stuff we've done, et cetera, et cetera. And he wrote back, you guys know movie trivia? So I was like, and I went, oh, he does that league. Oh, I said, I think we'd come to play and play to win. And he was like, well, come on by then. And so we went by and watched a couple of matches, and suddenly he started filtering us in 2019 at the free-for-all when, there's 1,000 people who play. So it was no big thing to introduce us. But, we couldn't really make a mark there. Most people just went, who are these guys? And then when we got on our matches, we kind of showed, the characters we could bring and the fun we could have. So, yeah, that's how that worked out. And it just, I thought I knew a ton about movies. I think I proved in that first year that I do. And then since then, I've kind of crapped the bed. But it's
trust me, you still do. You still do.
It's still about the fun you could have, really. So.
Yeah, of course. But just whenever I see you in a match, and it's an automatic click right away. And again, I was talking to Paul about this before the show, but not just the fact that he's on the show, but just in general, before he was even on the show, he was my favorite competitor. And I'm not saying that because he's right here. I'm saying that genuinely because he's actually my favorite competitor within the Schmoedown. And then Adam Witt as well.
Thanks.
So, I mean, and so is it painful? Has it been painful within the last year? Whenever I unfortunately have to see an L for your record, it is unfortunate just from a viewer's experience. I'm sure it's more unfortunate for you, but I'm going to stick by your side for as long as I can.
Well, yeah, of course, but that's because of the digital age
Ah.
that COVID has put us in. You know, Christian's mentioned this a couple times,
Yeah.
sort of vaguely, but he was kind of talking about me in that, you know, some of us in this league are performers, and
Yeah.
it's the performer aspect kind of gets lost in this show.
Yeah.
I mean, even just having Kaiser in studio last night to talk
Yeah.
about Apocalypse Now, I forgot to mention this to Adam when we were done, was just so much better than this. I mean, we're having fun today, but
Yeah.
the dynamic around the table talking about the
Mhm.
movie last night was such a different energy. And it
Mhm.
will be when we're back to regular live matches. I know they've been back to Scum and Villainy and all that, but of course, you know, not winning, I didn't get to go and play any of those games. But yeah, it's unfortunately made me focus just on the trivia.
Mhm.
It's made that all the more important. So when I'm not winning, it sucks.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but when there's a whole bunch of other stuff to focus on, you know, if you guys are wrestling fans, and I
Mhm.
was a big Attitude Era fan, so I know just, you know, how it works to be a character and
Yeah.
you know, play that aspect of everything up. That should be the best part. And when that's taken away, it really stung. So I look forward to getting that part back. And then, yeah, as far as, you know, my competitive prospects, let me just pull something up here on my computer. I mean, I don't want to talk out of turn or anything, but I do have the number one all-time individual accuracy in teams matches, 91% plus 2 perfect first rounds in 6 matches. Only Newman has a higher percentage, but he's only played, you know, played fewer games, to be honest. And Horowitz as well, but he's only played half the games I have. I got the same singles percentage as a little guy you might have heard of named Dan Merle. I got the fourth highest steals percentage. You know, so my stats are good, but I think it, and you know, I don't know who's going to want to hear this, but I think it just comes down to luck, and it hasn't been on my side for 2 years, so that sucks. Because obviously, if you're winning, then you get to play the other part more. You know, if I'm not winning,
more,
that's the thing that Adams had luck with in never winning at all, is that he slid into this sort of manager position with Kaiser, where he can still get on and do the funny stuff and be involved in more matches, where he gets to crack wise and show up in the, you know, the post game interviews and have a good time and not have any of the burden of winning or losing on him. So yeah, that's been the worst part, is just getting to play less.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and obviously, like you said, once you start winning, that character becomes more and more solidified within the Schmoedown. It becomes more and more of someone people take seriously, that type of thing. But again, whenever I see you in a post game interview, that what you talked about comes into play, where the interview starts off with, "Oh, Paul, I always see you here. Why do I see
Jen
you
Sturger.
here?" And,
What is it? Well, here we are again. Oh, shut up. Don't remind me.
Exactly. But but I hope, you know, people like me, people out there. Yeah. But people out there, people are rooting for you. People are aware of the statistics. People are aware that you're a high quality competitor, much more badass and good at trivia than your record might show, especially when you look at those statistics. So your good play has not gone unnoticed, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, it really does come down a lot of times to luck.
Yeah, to luck.
And
exactly.
Because you were getting different questions than your partner.
Exactly.
So if it's going to be, you know, wildly different, but considered the same difficulty level by someone other than yourself, you're just beholden to that, and you got to just try and
all subjective.
You might be screwed, or you might be screwed, or you might get the W. So that's what it comes down to. As prepared as you might be.
Yeah, for sure. Like we have done a lot of trivia here inspired by the Schmoedown, and so we've encountered a lot of the obstacles, a lot of the kind of questions within the realm of, hey, is this the same level? Is this other 5-pointer that someone got? Stuff like that. And it's obviously kind of it's difficult to get around, and a lot of people obviously kind of feel the way that you feel sometimes, where, you know, the fairness of the questions comes into play. But hey, you know, it's like you said, it's all about fun. Of course, winning is the name of the game, but movie trivia, we all love movies, so
winning just means more opportunities to have fun.
Yeah,
so when that didn't happen, it was just a bummer, you know.
Yeah, no, understandable. Yeah, but Anyway, so that's going to do it for not the show, don't worry, but for Paul's kind of MTS
So long,
and
guys.
channel background. As we get on, make sure if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe, comment down below, subscribe to Paul's channel, link for that down below in the description. As we get to this week's movie news, we had 2 big releases that occurred during the week. The first of which is going to be Ghostbusters Afterlife, the newest Ghostbusters film, the 4th Ghostbusters film. This one tells the tale of a single mother and 2 children who move into a new town, and they have a connection to one of the Ghostbusters. Should I reveal who that Ghostbusters they have a connection to is?
It's in the
I know, is that
trailer.
a spoiler? Okay, yeah, sure.
I think it's in the trailer.
Yes,
Yeah.
Harold Ramis's Ghostbuster. So unfortunately, we lost Harold Ramis 7 years ago. So the film is kind of a tribute to him and this family who moves in to, I believe, what state is it? I believe
Oklahoma.
I want to say Oklahoma. I was going to say Arkansas. And yeah, so the film is a sequel to the original Ghostbusters, the first 2. And so I got the chance to see this on a Wednesday early screening. What I did know is that I would be there with a huge crowd of big Ghostbusters fans. Now, I know a lot of people love the original Ghostbusters film. I did not realize that there were so many fans of the franchise, if you will, because there've only been 3 movies, arguably one good one before this one. And I was shocked at the fact that there were so many people out there clapping when certain characters arrived in the movie, when certain Easter eggs were revealed. And but yes, the film did not disappoint in a way. My expectations were very low for this film. I did not like the trailers at all. I think the idea of the child.
They were a little silly though, because like the way the trailer worked was they showed like the bottom half of the Ghostbusters bodies that we cared about. They'd be like, "Hada!" And then you're like, "Ah!" And then you're like, "Well, wait, you don't actually really see them." So like, I get that they don't want to show them.
Yeah.
But like, if you're gonna show the bottom half of them and reveal that they're already in the movie, why don't you just, that was kind of.
I will say once, I don't want to give anything away, but once certain characters are revealed, it is a great moment. But other than obviously the buzz behind the original cast, some of them returning, the film, other than that, is pretty well rounded in my opinion. The cast is pretty good, I'd say. Paul Rudd is used to the best of his ability. Mckenna Grace is obviously the standout here. She knows the assignment. Her kind of performance is in line with the tone of the film, which I liked. And yeah, she is a rising star. She's a child actress who's been in a lot of movies now. And yeah, she was probably the big standout for me. The film was funny. The film, a lot of the jokes hit for me. It had a lot of callbacks to 80s culture, 80s kind of, and as well as the original Ghostbusters. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Not one of my favorites of the year, but I'd recommend it. Far better than I expected. Paul, I'll go to you next. You have the chance to see Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Well, this is a long story, but I'll try and keep it as brief. I don't know how much time we have, but you may know that my wife passed away in 2019, Karen, and she was the world's biggest Ghostbusters fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so that sort of rubbed off on me, and I became one of the world's biggest Ghostbusters fans too. And it's not hard because I think for mere joke quantity,
mm-hmm.
it's in the top 5 all time. I mean, it's up there with Airplane and Blazing Saddles. It's I mean, there's something about Mary is I think one of the more modern movies that just made me fall over from just sheer number of jokes, and plus character jokes, plus situation jokes. I mean, all that, and that. I mean, this is give you a quick tour of the garage. I mean, there's a whole bunch of.
Oh.
We got Slimer and Stay Puft, Venkman.
Yeah.
There's another ghost down there, another Slimer, a couple more down there. And I even have the posters here for the 2016.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Wow.
And all that. So if that didn't make me a big enough fan, I have, personally, a Ecto-1 that is my Ecto-1. And the suit and the whole deal and the proton pack. So I'm the guy you're talking about.
You're a Ghostbusters fan, right? Correct? I'm talking to the right guy here.
Yeah. So there hasn't been a sequel that's quite up to the quality of the first
Mhm.
one. It's hard. Again, it's hard to match. It's lightning in a bottle that you're just not going to
Yeah.
catch again.
Yeah.
The second one was disappointing. Upon review, there's great parts in it if you can just let some of the parts that don't work go. I mean, there's many scenes that end without a joke, and you're like, why don't you have a joke there? The first one would have had some outline or whatever.
Mhm.
And so Ghostbusters 2016 tried to do that again. And a lot of repeated stuff. I mean, you saw they get the fourth member, they get the car, they get their headquarters, they go in their first job. They hit a lot of signposts that a Ghostbusters story at that time did. And, whereas 1989's Ghostbusters 2 really tried something different with the haunted painting and Vigo coming into the world. And so this one, the 2016, went back to what we've seen familiar. And that's a little frustrating because it's
very much a carbon. It's pretty much a copy.
Yeah, it's not that new. But when I saw it a second time, that you realize if you can let all that stuff go that you're familiar with, it's just crammed with jokes. That movie's got a ton of jokes too. Katie Dippold, Paul Feig are super funny people, and the deliverers of the jokes, Kate McKinnon especially, are who's the guy from Silicon Valley who opens up that movie with the tour of the Aldrich?
Oh my God, the guy
who plays Gabe.
What's his
Gabe
name?
Lewis in
Donald Dunn.
The Office.
In Silicon Valley.
He's super funny. It's given the tour.
I
of
know
the
him as
Aldridge
Gabe
Mansion.
in The Office.
This is where that P.T. Barnum learned how to subjugate elephants or something like that. Like, it was super weird and funny, his opening scene. But none of them were quite as good as the first one. Now, Afterlife comes out. If you're paying attention to the trailer, it has no laughs.
No.
The Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer has no laughs.
No.
So clearly
Serious.
they're looking to do something different.
Yeah.
So you have to get into that mindset before you go into the film. They've set you up to be like, look, we're not trying to pile on comedy. These aren't SNL vets. Paul Rudd's a funny guy, but Carrie Coon was like from The Leftovers. She was in a super powerful drama last year called The Nest with Jude Law that is dark, and I mean, she's a great actress. And then you got kids. You got the Stranger Things kid and the young Captain Marvel. Kid. Yeah, and you got young Captain Marvel. McKenna Grace played young Veers, and so what are we in for? Well, they're telling you it's Stranger Things in the Ghostbusters universe.
Yeah,
and you get that, and so you go in, and that's what happened. And I'll just show you another quick picture here because since Karen passed, I started up a scholarship for people like her because she came from a small town in upstate New York, over near near Ohio, Jamestown, New York, where the National Comedy Center is. And it's hard to get out of there if you want to pursue things that are bigger than that area. It's hard to see what's possible beyond the small town. You've heard this before. It's no big concept. But so I wanted to create a scholarship for young girls like her in that area. And so we had a huge fundraiser when we saw Ghostbusters. Have you seen the thing where you can buy out the theater now?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I did a theater buyout. We had like 40 people come out. Here's a handful of them. I brought the Ecto-1. We took a whole bunch of photos. It's my girlfriend now. She dressed like McKenna Grace from the movie, and I was pretty impressed with that. And so we took photos, and we went to have a big meal, and then I brought some swag, and we had a little auction. Everybody got some free Ghostbusters stuff. Well, free. They donated to the scholarship. We made a couple $100 for the scholarship and saw the film, and it was a great night. So, we wanted to remember Karen because she grew up, again, in the middle of nowhere. So a Ghostbusters movie about a young girl in the middle of nowhere who gets to be a Ghostbuster. I mean, that just hit me right in the heart. And so in the end, is it good? To me, that movie leaned on nostalgia a little too much as well. A lot of times it was like, oh, that's great. A lot of times it's like, okay, well, now you're just piling it on. It's a little too much. So I actually, despite even the cameos of old cast members, all the new stuff I thought was the best stuff. I thought McKenna Grace was fantastic. I was like, whatever's happening, more Phoebe. Phoebe's funny.
Yeah.
She's odd and quirky. I like watching what she's doing. Her discoveries throughout the movie are really fun. I thought the Ecto-1 was great. You know, they pulled that thing out and put it to work. You know, lots of fun action sequences chasing down ghosts. You know, it's rushed a little. They kind of move through like discovering technology and then mastering it pretty quick. But I guess we got a movie to get to, so
Yeah.
you know, they move all that right along. And yeah, and then of course at the end, it gets very poignant to where I thought it might be a little cynical to do the things they were doing, but their heart's so in it that it actually turned out to be pretty special.
The ending was something else. At least it was.
Yeah.
It hit me right in the heart, and I didn't think in a million years that would happen. At least looking at the trailers for this movie, I was really surprised.
Yeah, and considering that again, the movie sets you up for almost a Spielberg movie more than another
exactly.
Ivan Reitman
Yes.
comedy.
Yeah,
Like with supernatural forces and kids on bikes, that's Spielberg, right?
yeah,
And so that was not disappointing, that aspect of the movie. And then when there were jokes, it was like welcome, you know. And Paul Rudd, of course, is going to deliver them great, and so did McKenna Grace with her awkward jokes to try and fit in and everything. So overall, yeah, I also recommend the movie as well. Tough to match the original Ghostbusters, but this is a warm sort of. I'll leave you with this. Well, and then I'm not going to leave, but yeah, I felt to me, Marvel's What If was a fantastic show on Disney Plus.
Oh.
This feels like a Ghostbusters What If. Well, what if it went like this? You know, what if this is how it all happened? I thought, you know, why not? Sure, I'm on board, and I thought it was fun.
Yeah, and no, I want to say about McKenna Grace as well. Her comedic style, kind of her character. What I found so great about the character was it didn't even feel like she was trying to make jokes. The character just felt like what she was saying was just what the character wanted to say, and that just happened to be for the audience. It appeared to be very funny. It didn't seem like she was trying to. The script was trying to just tell you jokes right away. It was that type of comedic style, which I liked. And I also want to say the Stay Puft Marshmallow scene, because obviously we don't have a big Stay Puft Marshmallow Man like we did in the original Ghostbusters movie. We have, like you saw in the trailers, some smaller marshmallow men, and I will not give away too much about a specific scene, but I will say that the small marshmallow men were very, very interesting additions to the universe, additions that I quite enjoyed. I don't know, Paul, if you would agree with me on that one.
Yeah, they brought the chaos, which was fun. You know, playful chaos, which is kind of the whole thing. You know.
But yeah, so Guy, I don't think you had a chance to go see it yet.
I did not get a chance to see it, but I did get a chance to see King Richard. So
okay, so that's the next
good.
movie you're going to talk about.
I didn't see that, so you can fill in my.
Yeah, I didn't. So that's a great segue into the next movie we're going to go over, King Richard, starring Will Smith, which is a biopic on the Williams sisters, Serena and Venus Williams, as well as their father. So, Guy, I'm going to go to you first because you're the only one of us who has seen the movie. So,
actually, okay.
Richard.
I'll talk about it. All right. So I liked this movie. You know, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was. I mean, I just felt like Will Smith was incredible in this movie. I haven't really seen much of his work. I've seen like a few episodes of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
What? I know you're a young kid, but good Lord, he's got like 1,000 movies. Been around for your whole life.
I know. No. Let me just say. I've seen Men in Black, obviously. I've seen Suicide Squad, sadly. I've seen a few of his projects, but this one he was just like, I thought he was amazing. Because he was unrecognizable, the character he played. Like, I never thought of, it's rewind time. Like, I never thought of that when I saw this. And so I was really impressed and was just amazed. And then the kids in the movie who play Serena and Venus Williams are fantastic. The entire cast has this amazing connection to each other. And you feel it, and you feel like they've actually had a great time making the movie. And John Bernthal plays a part that I've never seen him play before, which is one where he's actually in a positive mood. And so it like blew my mind that this man could go from negative to positive. So and he was very enjoyable in the movie. So I mean, I really liked this movie. I thought it was really good. I think if you want to have like a fun time, go see that movie. There are some parts of it, at least to me, that were a little, with the certain characters, a little inconsistent and odd. Their decisions and their motivation towards those decisions were a little, but like it was a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah, and this movie it was marketed very heavily by Warner Brothers.
Yes,
and which is surprising considering
more than the Suicide Squad.
But I did not get a chance to see it, mostly because I thought it was only in theaters, and I thought I would have to go out to the theater. And I love going to the theater, don't get me wrong. I just didn't have time over the last couple of days. And then I realized, it's on HBO Max, so I could have caught it a couple days ago. But regardless, I'm going to see this, mostly because of what you're talking about, what a lot of people are talking about. The reactions towards this film have been nothing but positive, at least from what I've seen, which is surprising considering at least the trailers showed off a sports film, which displays a great performance from Will Smith, but nothing really more, which is what I thought the movie would wind up being. However, it looks like, at least from what I'm seeing, everyone seems to be enjoying this film. It's getting a lot of Oscar buzz. Will Smith is number one right now, the number one horse when it comes to the Best Actor race at the Oscars. So it's getting a ton of buzz. So I'm excited to see it. That runtime is a little jarring. I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit scared by it. But at the same time, every movie nowadays is long. So I guess I have to get used to it. So
if it's good, I'll take 5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about this. Paul, are you excited to check out King Richard?
It's a good movie.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, that's a fascinating true life story,
Yeah.
watching the Williams sisters come from, I mean, I'll find out exactly where, but it felt like the projects, to get to the worldwide stage and be the best in their sport. I mean, it's just crazy. And I know it had a lot to do with their father. And how often do you hear about that? I mean, it seems like a lot of, sports parents, dance parents, theater parents can be pains in the ass. And this guy actually believed in them.
Yeah.
And get yourself educated, guy, because Men in Black, Independence Day, those movies like really showed you Will Smith's charm, but you got to get in there.
I saw Men in Black.
I know. Well, that's everybody did. And you see, like, he's a great, charming guy, but you got to watch Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
You got to watch
that. I do need to see.
Man, he's fantastic in that movie. And what was the other one? Oh, and Ali. He's a really good dramatic actor when required as well. He's got all the tools, and I like when they're put to use in different direction than just his charm. He can always deliver, and it's good to see that variety.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll check it out for sure, and I'm not going to watch it on HBO Max. Don't even get me started on the whole Warner Brothers call a year ago to say we're going to put all our 2021 movies out for you to watch at home. Like you watch Dune on your TV.
Made us lazy.
I mean, a lot of the studios, I think, we're having, we're pulling the trigger too soon on like the pushing Top Gun and Jackass to next year. Paramount, they did that, and then Shang-Chi made like
a lot of money,
$80 million in
right
opening
now.
weekend.
Right now.
Yes, and now they're sitting there going, "Oh, we could have made money too." Well, you're not. You made a bad call, and Warner Brothers, I think, made a bad call. I don't know what the numbers are at their home viewing. No one tells you what the home viewing numbers are.
Yeah, I don't think HBO really reveals the percentages.
Or
like
Disney,
that.
or Disney did for Black Widow because they wanted to. Oh, and that whole thing. I mean, you hold your movie off for you hold your movie off for 14 months and then still put it on TV. Well, why did you just put it on TV when it was originally going to come out?
Exactly.
Erg. Anyway. The cinema is the place to see any movie,
sure.
even a small drama like this. Just needs to be large. It needs to overwhelm you with the sound and audio. Yeah. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people worked on making this movie a sensual experience that engages you from every direction. The TV just is not enough, So if you get the chance to see even King Richard in the theater, man, you got to go. And I'm sure any sports movie. I mean, you got to get the crowd into it. It's good, even if it's like a sports drama and not just like some, I don't know what other. It's Rocky, where he just fights and wins. The crowd is essential. So anyway, you'll hear me be a champion of cinema time and time again. For
sure, me too. And how's it Gucci next week? So that should be exciting. Anyways, that's for next week. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about.
Two Ridley Scott movies in 1 year. I mean, that's great.
No, yeah.
We had the
Oh,
last duel, which was
dude.
fantastic, and now
I love
this.
the last duel. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's move on now to our big stories of the week. We
Okay,
kind of
sure.
recap the big releases we have, although we didn't talk about Tick Tick Boom, but I'd also recommend seeing that as well on Netflix. But
That's what I've heard.
big stories.
Good to see Andrew Garfield come back to chime in on that.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen
Yeah.
that guy in forever, and now he comes
I will
back in
say
this role
he's
that apparently
great
is.
in the eyes
Yeah.
of Tammy Faye. He is very good.
Oh, that
That's-
yeah,
that's
like,
an-
but
yeah.
even in these two appearances, it's like, where you been, pal? You owe
Yeah.
us 2 movies, so that's good.
But
Soon 3.
let's move on now to our big stories. We had a little trailer that came out on,
Yeah, little
I believe
indie.
it was Monday, a little indie
Yeah,
movie coming
yeah.
out in December called No Way Home. No Way
Yeah.
Home. Spider-Man. No Way Home. Guy, I'll go to you. You're a fan of the character of Spider-Man?
Yes.
Spider-Man? Is he
Yes.
a local?
I am. I am a fan of the character of Spider-Man.
Guy, you like Spider-Man? He's a good boy, the Spider-Man.
I do love this Spider-Man. You know what I mean? It's Sugar. No. It's Menace. No. I love. Yes, I love Spider-Man. Go on.
And what did you think of this trailer?
I liked it. You know, it's pretty good.
Guy, that's not all.
Okay.
Unload, pal. Come on.
Okay, let me just say something. So, like, it starts and it gives you that little tease, like in the beginning. They have a teaser for a trailer for like the first 5 seconds of the trailer, and you're like, holy crap. This is already like, you got Electro with the comic accurate lightning face. You have Doc Ock, you have Green Goblin, and you're like, holy shit, this is going to be crazy. And then it starts. And then, like, you see kind of the same stuff, you know, you see the goblin bomb, he's like, ah, you know, and then you see, like, the octopus arms come out from the ground, and you're like, okay, we've seen this. And then he's like, hello, Peter. Then he's like, you're not Peter. And you're like, oh, shit, this is crazy. You know, it's not, he knows it's Tobey Maguire, and every nerd is like, you see, like, all those reaction videos are like, oh, you know, and they're, like, going crazy. And so then, sorry, I'm going through this narration style. But, like, it was nuts to me. I've watched
Michael Pena style in it.
more times than I've had the guts to ask a girl out. So, like, let's keep going. Okay, so basically, what happened was, then, like, you actually finally see the villains that you've been wanting to see. There was, and it was, like, really, it was cool. You hear Green Goblin's voice narrating, and you're like, holy crap, it's Willem Dafoe. I mean, there's just so much. It's, like, it's insane. And then the end, when you see like him jumping at Sandman, at Lizard, at
Yeah.
So,
we know the story behind that.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's so much.
Don't you apologize, Guy. It is cool.
There's so much in there. You see J.K. Simmons turn around in a fedora. You're like, oh shit, this is getting real. And it's like, it's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. You know, look, was the trailer it felt like there was a lot there, but it was cool. Is this movie going to be good? I don't know, but like the trailers were great. The trailers were great.
A lot there is cool.
Look, it is cool, but I am worried that they're going to pull an Amazing Spider-Man 2 and they're going to overfill this thing. That's the only thing I'm worried about. That's a rational worry. That's a rational worry, sir. I'm sorry. That is a rational worry.
Sorry, you're thinking 1990s Joel Schumacher movies. The MCU, Infinity War had 40 characters.
That's true.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe can handle it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it's amazing that Feige, I feel, knows what we want a lot of the time. Like, I'm really happy that he actually gave us these characters back. The one, and it just the way it's presented in the trailer, it looks amazing. Like it looks like a really fun movie. You know, Scooby-Doo this crap. Like I'm very excited. God, there's so many feelings about this right now, like flowing through my head. The end scene when like MJ is falling, I'm like, there's no way Andrew is not gonna like come in swinging, grab her, be like, not again, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, and I mean and then you see the Brazilian trailer and you see the lizard get punched in the face, and you're like, holy crap, they are in this movie, and you lose your mind. I mean, it's nuts. It's insane. It's good. I like it. I'm sorry. I need someone else to talk so I can bounce off of them, because I'm like, I'm everywhere right now. I need
let's go to you next. Let's give Guy a rest.
Best thing that happened to Spider-Man was getting him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's
I
true.
mean, if you remember
That is
his arrival in Captain America: Civil War,
that was the coolest thing ever.
But he was doing it already. It wasn't like, oh, we got to watch Uncle Ben die and all that stuff. He's already Spider-Man in New York. They find him and they want to bring him into the fold.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of like what Disney and Marvel did. It's like we found him out there at Sony, right? We brought him into the fold.
We brought him in the fold.
And this one is a Sony Marvel Studios production. I don't think Disney has anything to do with it, but still, because it's Marvel, they're going to handle it. They're going to handle it. Again, Batman Forever, you think, oh no, they brought in, Poison Ivy and Batgirl. That's too much.
Hey, that was Batman and Robin. That was Batman and Robin.
Whatever. Who cares? All those movies, like everyone was worried. They brought in too many characters. Those movies were bad for other reasons than too many characters. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to handle this.
Yes.
And smartly, and it's going to be a trip. I mean, first of all, Into the Spider-Verse showed that the multiverse in the Spider-Man world can be interesting and followable and dynamic. And now live action version, the action is going to be off the chart. I can't wait.
Who do you think is the sixth member of this?
Oh, here we go.
Six?
I don't know the Sinister Six all that well from the comics. Who are they in the comics?
The Sinister Six is essentially like Spider-Man's Legion of Doom. Right. It's essentially what happened was, this is early on, Stan Lee was like, oh crap, like I need to come up with a new character. What if I save some time, just grab 6 of these guys and put them against Spider-Man? I think it'll sell pretty well. He was a great salesman. And so essentially he did that. It was Doc Ock, Electro, Vulture, Mysterio, Kraven, and Sandman. And they all went up against the Spider-Man. Since then, there's been multiple different variations of the 6. This variation, to me, is very similar to the Ultimate Comics because the roster is very similar to that. But every cop's like super hardcore comic Spider-Man fans like, there are villains in this. It needs to be 6 villains because of the 6. Like that's how great they're like. It has to be 6. And so like I'm like, who could the 6th member be? Could it be Rhino? I don't think they'll bring in Paul Giamatti as the Rhino, but like,
but great. How great?
It would be funny if when Doctor Strange is like, I can't hold it in, Rhino just flies in and falls on the ground.
How frustrating is it sometimes when they pull fan service on us? But
yeah,
I think a lot of people thought Rhino was underserved by the movies. It's like that one brief appearance. Come on, we need some more out of him. So it might be fun to see him appear and then get his just due in a movie.
It's also like
Paul Giamatti has the time.
That's the thing. He shot enough car ads for the last decade. Every time he's like, this is the Volkswagen. I'm like, enough. Just do something, please. I love you. God damn it. But yeah, it could be Vulture. It could be Mysterio. It could be any of these guys. Because I don't think Mysterio's dead. I don't care what anyone says. He's not dead.
I hope not.
He's not dead to me. Jake Gyllenhaal is dead to a lot of people right now, but that's besides the point.
But Green Goblin's presence doesn't make him the 6th, or
no? Because that's funny. But no. But,
I don't know.
Green Goblin's usually not on the team. I think they did that because it's like Willem Dafoe was amazing. Yeah. Like he's perfect in that role. And that, by the way, is what I'm really most excited for, is to see him go up against Tom Holland's Spider-Man. To me, I feel like the Green Goblin is Spider-Man's greatest nemesis. Yes. And look, I do love that suit.
Come on.
I know a lot. I know some people who don't, but like I love it because it looks. I don't care. It looks cool. It looks cool. That green armor, that helmet, it looks amazing.
The fact that the mouth doesn't move kind of gives it more of a creepy vibe than if the mouth moved while
and that's why they should have done that with Ultron. But that's besides the point. Look, all I'm saying is this looks cool. And then he has like a second look, which also looks kind of badass, with the goggles and like the purple and stuff.
Hood.
I mean, the hood. I mean, this movie looks so cool. I think this is going to be the movie that does bring people back to theaters. I think this is. I know Shang-Chi did, but this is going to be full swing. No pun intended. Everyone is going to be coming back into theaters.
I hope so. I hope it kind of preps everyone for
because
March
it's also
of
like you have to
2022.
think about it. Every MCU movie that has come out during the pandemic, and I'm not saying that they're bad because I love Shang-Chi. I like Black Widow. I've not yet seen Eternals, but from what I know, these films, like you look at Black Widow, she already died. So a lot of people are like, well, what's Shang-Chi no one ever really knew about before, the commercials and the advertisement, because there was never really any connection. There's never any mention of Shang-Chi in the MCU. The Eternals as well. This is Spider-Man. Spider-Man's story is literally like before the pandemic, this was the last MCU movie to come out. This was the cliffhanger that the world knew his identity. So like I feel like people are gonna be like, well shit, we gotta find out what happens next. I think that's why Venom Let There Be Carnage made a lot of money. Is because people were like, oh, maybe. So that's why I think this movie's gonna make I do feel this is gonna bring people back to the theaters in a huge way. It's gonna be amazing.
Okay, Paul, I'll give Guy another break here. What did you think
Thank you.
of the No Way Home trailer?
Oh, I think I chimed in enough already, didn't I? I mean, I'm super excited.
Okay.
Tom Holland was a great casting choice. I mean, I saw that guy in The Impossible, and I knew he was a great actor, and they got him. I'm like, oh, this is a huge win. And sure enough, he's been fantastic in the role. This whole trip into the multiverse and is just amazing. And, it will continue with the Doctor Strange movie, and the possibilities are, limitless. I mean, once you finish in the Infinity War saga of movies, that's a fun place to go. But man, you gotta be smart about it. But again, I trust Feige 100%.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I
And
also-
you should see Eternals. Eternals is awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone out there who's like, oh, I'm tired of the same old superheroes. Well, these are brand
Those were
new
different.
ones. They all have different powers, and you haven't seen anything like it. And the story is a huge scope, and there's nothing but superheroes in it. There's very few people who are regular people in the movie.
Mhm.
So it's another one of those movies that deals with their place in the world and how they're trying to find their humanity. It's really good. Yeah.
I also
So
think that
they're killing it. MCU
I think this is going to be like one of those Endgame Force Awakens theater reactions. Like I do feel like if you remember, like everyone goes crazy. Everyone's in it together. Like everyone is just going, and like I think that's what's going to happen with this movie. I think this movie is like it's going to be the rebirth of theaters. I know I'm praising this, but that trailer was awesome. That trailer had a lot of cool shit in it. And it and also apparently there's going to be one in like another trailer in 8 days. So like it's pretty nuts. I mean, I'm just very excited.
Yeah.
I can't contain myself, as you can see.
So my brief thoughts. So for No Way Home, I like the trailer. I'm not sure I loved it as much as you guys did. I will say I like that they didn't have Toby and Andrew in. They didn't have Toby and Andrew in the trailer, because when they show up, it'll be, at least in my prediction, a historic moment for movies in general. Like CNN did this thing called The Movies, this documentary miniseries where they showed every decade in movies and what they look like. If they make one about this decade, that'll be the moment that they show for like 5 minutes, like a featurette moment. And so I'm so glad that they didn't show them in the trailer, although the lizard thing was a bit suspect. Not going to lose my mind over it, but 3 villains against the 3 Spider-Men. It's pretty much established that that's the shot of the movie.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad they didn't show them the trailer. I still don't vibe with the jokes necessarily. This is the second straight No Way Home trailer where they make fun of someo's name, like they did so with Doctor Strange's name.
Here's the one thing I don't get about that name thing. His name is Peter Parker. Like, come on now. Like you can't laugh at that.
No, I don't.
Your name also starts with the same letter twice. Like, come on, man.
Wait a second.
Guys, Paul.
Oh. Shit.
Get him off. Take him off the feed.
I wasn't digging on you. I was defending the people with the double names. I was defending them. I was like, come on, man. I speak for them. I'm like the Lorax, except I speak for you.
Alliteration is stupid. Yeah, thanks, guy. That's a deep statement.
Hey, I
People
didn't.
tuned in to hear that.
I didn't say that. I'm for the what was it?
The alliteration names.
The alliteration community. I am pro alliteration.
You're
Don't cancel.
You're alliteratively challenged. You're in that camp.
But,
gotcha. So noted. Let the record show.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, the name thing doesn't exactly vibe with me, but still, guy said the word cool. Maybe I think I counted about 50 times. So I'm excited for this movie. Like everyone,
47, Alex.
I can't think of original. Anything original I can say about it that no one else has said before. So, but I will say tickets on sale on November 29th. So
Spider Monday.
Yeah, I'm
Spider Monday. Pretty much. Spider Monday.
I was like, what?
I will say I like that they had the voice at the end of the trailer. You don't have that a lot nowadays, where you have tickets on sale now, unless it's like on the TV. You don't have it in a lot of YouTube trailers.
Yeah,
so.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Well, they got to remind you in theaters. We didn't pull a stupid Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
in theaters. Yeah.
We aren't Sims. No, okay.
Now let's go to some unfortunate news. We have some news about Star Wars, which is more my speed. But unfortunately, last week we talked about the whole Patty Jenkins situation. We thought it was just a delay, and then it was reported this week that it might be indefinitely shelved, and that the Rian Johnson trilogy is now shelved for creative differences.
Surprise.
And then we also got news that the Ahsoka series was coming in 2023 as well. So about Rian Johnson and Patty Jenkins specifically, I'm going to go to Paul first. So Kathleen Kennedy was re-signed recently on a 3-year deal. Do you think that there's a problem? Because obviously Kathleen Kennedy's produced a lot of movies, a ton of great stuff when you talk about her work with Spielberg specifically. What is her deal just with directors in general when it comes to the Star Wars franchise, not being able to be on the same page with them creatively? And do you think it was a good idea for Disney to re-sign her?
I think the Star Wars universe is the opposite of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, you can't say Feige's got this about anybody over at Star Wars. Maybe Favreau, unless they hand him the entire reins, but they haven't. And so they don't know what they're doing one movie to the next. And it feels like when they greenlight a Rian Johnson trilogy, it's just to say Last Jedi's okay, but if we say it's great and we're going to sign him up for 3 more movies, that'll get you into the theater and get you excited about it. You'll get you, and so it felt that way with like, we greenlit Wonder Woman 3 with Patty Jenkins, like Warner Brothers was all about making that announcement, to let you forget that Wonder Woman 2 was terrible and just to get you excited to go see it. So it seems like a bunch of hype that means nothing. I mean, Taika Waititi's supposed to put one out. The Game of Thrones guys are supposed to make Star Wars movies. I mean,
the Game of Thrones guys are out. Yeah, the Game of Thrones guys are
it's all out. It's all noise. It's all noise.
Yeah.
If they had a real mission, if they plotted out their future, I'd buy it. I just, that's what Marvel does. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah.
We know what's coming with Marvel. We know Feige's got this. It doesn't matter who he gets as a director. You get the director of Zathura to kick this thing off with Iron Man. I mean, what?
Yeah.
That's because it doesn't matter who directs it. Scott Derrickson, the guy who made Sinister, you're excited about a movie coming out next month about Peter Parker, directed by the guy who made Clown. John Watts has no resume, and he's kicked out 2, potentially 3 killer Spider-Man movies because Feige's got this, and they don't have that at Star Wars. So everything they announce, I go, whatever. I doubt it.
It's like a DC slot. Yeah. It's like when DC announces like a myriad of movies, okay, that Blue Beetle one, no fucking way. Okay, that Booster Gold. Okay,
Blue Beetle's
getting there. Blue Beetle's getting there, but I'm still
put in there like New Gods. New Gods.
I have
a
a
good
feeling,
that
Justice League movie 10 years ago. I have a feeling something like that's going to happen with this Blue Beetle movie. I want it to happen, but all I'm saying is, you doubt it. Like I don't think there will ever be a Martian Manhunter or Booster Gold movie or a Zatanna movie. Like they keep saying there will be. So that's like the way it is with Star Wars. They announce all this cool shit.
They want hype. They want news.
They want hype. They want news. They even show that. They probably show that Book of Boba Fett trailer to like cover their tracks on this shit. But like everyone's like,
Absolutely.
whoa, he grew his eyebrows back. Like that's the thing. which by the way bugs the shit out of me that he has eyebrows now when he went through acid and his face looked like a scrotum, and now for some reason he's normal. His face, sorry, that's a gripe from another time. But all I'm saying is this
sounds perfectly relevant right now. We're talking
exactly,
Star Wars.
exactly.
Go ahead.
Star Wars is the scrotum face of the franchise universe. It keeps I don't know, pulling out on us. Like it hurts us. It's like it's not right. I mean, I'm very disappointed because there's a consistency, like you said, that the MCU has. Kevin Feige is so good at just having structure, and it's something that kills me that there aren't many Kevin. You really realize that there are not a lot of Kevin Feiges when you look at Star Wars or DC or one of these other franchises, because it's just a mess. And also Star Wars essentially right now is just fill in the blank. It's like fill in the blank areas of the timeline. And that's the goal, is so that then like they're like, oh, we're done eventually. And I mean, you know, I'm very disappointed about this because I mean, like, look, the Rian Johnson thing, that makes sense. I mean, I remember as soon as like that movie and everyone's like, yeah, you know, got all mad, and some people were happy like me, but also a little mad. So like, I mean, it was just, it's a complicated thing, and it's disappointing. And Patty Jenkins, I mean, just after Wonder Woman 19, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't. That movie put a bad taste in my mouth for like 5 months, and I tried to use the fucking palate cleanser, it just didn't work. It was bad.
Yeah, I think I'm on the mad side when it comes to the Rian Johnson trilogy. I'm a huge fan of Rian Johnson.
No, I like Rian Johnson.
I'm a Last Jedi fan. I don't love Last Jedi. I don't hate it, but I do like the film. I love Knives Out. I love all his work. So that's when I'm most. Did I think it was gonna happen 100%? No, but I wanted it to happen. Patty Jenkins, not a huge fan of Patty Jenkins. I think Monster's good. I think Wonder Woman's fine. 84, not for me, like we just talked about. But Rogue Squadron, that's a great idea for a film not connected to the Force or Jedi, Sith, any of those subjects. Something that, yeah, exactly, not the Skywalker saga. So I was really excited about that movie, and and it just the fact that Lucasfilm can't get on the same page with their directors. But anyways, also Ahsoka series coming in 2023. I guess that's some good news. I thought it was going to come in 2022.
They did that to cover the tracks of this shit. They definitely did that.
I'm falling
like,
for
there's
it.
No way.
I'm excited about the Ahsoka series. Although
they're just like, oh, this shit's canceled. But you know what? Ahsoka. Like that's pretty much it. Like,
no, it worked. And I'm not the biggest Ahsoka fan in the world. I actually don't like the character for a lot of her appearances, but I am excited about the series. So, I mean, that's something. So those are our big stories of the week. A lot of excitement, a lot of concern on both fronts when it comes to Disney's properties. So,
yeah, I'll tell you that
that's the world we live in.
My favorite DC movies are this year's The Suicide Squad.
That's the best DC movie ever.
Yeah, and the Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League recut. So to me, DC only works when they redo something. So
when they give
first time out, I don't get excited anymore.
Or when they actually work well with a director, like James Gunn. Like look, you even have the post. Like he spins like gold out of like characters that no one knows about. And it's just amazing. And then you got Zack Snyder, who was dealt a bad hand, even though he had a good movie.
I mean, how great is the announced Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special going to be on Disney Plus? I mean, come on, that's going to be the best.
It will be.
But those are our big stories. Now we're going to quickly go to buy or sell. Yes, buy or sell, in which we're going to go over the smaller news topics that occurred over the last week. We're going to talk about if we would buy those topics or if we're going to sell those topics. We have 4 topics with us today because obviously we talked about a lot about the big stories. So first of all, I mean, we just talked about it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Sylvester Stallone is officially going to be in the movie after his brief appearance in Guardians 2. Are we buying or selling this news?
Buy. I know this is going to be good. Like I already know, because one, it's James Gunn, but it's also like I saw the photo of Sylvester Stallone. I was like, yeah. I was like, it's back, and it's just awesome. Like I'm very excited for this movie. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I love that he's playing like one of the old, like from the comics, old team members, and I just think that's really cool.
For sure. And then I'm going to buy this news as well. Sylvester Stallone, in his brief appearance in Guardians 2, I thought he was really good in it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see his dynamic with Star-Lord, with Rocket, with everybody else that we know and love. Paul?
Yeah, bye again. I mean, clearly I've set myself up as if it's Marvel's announcing it, first of all, it will happen. Secondly, it will be
Kevin
good.
Feige will make it happen, or he'll kill someone.
Yeah. And why not? I mean, it was a fun introduction to see him in Guardians 2.
Yeah.
I'll take more, absolutely.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
Gunn loves him. King Shark was great.
That was the best.
I mean, all that was hilarious. So
Yeah, next piece of news, another Marvel casting piece of news, as Delroy Lindow has signed on for Blade. Of course, Delroy Lindow recently in Da 5 Bloods, where he was robbed of an Oscar nomination. I am buying this news because I've Delroy Lindow. I've only seen him in some Spike Lee joints as well as Blade. I'm sorry, not Blade. What am I talking about? As well as Da 5 Bloods. I love him as an actor. Him and Mahershala Ali. I mean, just two guys announced for this movie, but already, I mean, that's a lot of talent just when you talk about two actors.
Bye.
Paul or Guy, bye. Paul, I'm guessing both of you are going to buy this, actually. Yeah.
bye, absolutely. First of all, Delroy Lindo. I mean, good Lord, how good was he in Malcolm X? And that's like approaching 30 years ago now. And he Get Shorty. I mean, the list goes on. All the Spike Lee stuff, that he did. Crooklyn and and he was just in The Harder They Fall, which is a fantastic Western on Netflix.
Oh,
with
yes.
Jonathan Majors. And he's great in that. Everybody's great in that. Idris Elba and Regina King are right on down. Oh, it's so good. And he's fantastic in it. So yes, please. Every time they bring somebody, the casting's nuts in Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They're getting amazing.
We got Anthony Hopkins to be Odin.
Yeah.
You got Anthony Hopkins to be Odin? What? How did you like? I mean, it's amazing. It's going to be incredible. I mean, I can't wait for Delroy Lindo to be in it, whatever role they give him. It's going to be awesome
for sure. And let's get to our third piece of
news. I think there's a hint of Blade.
Also, like Jim Carrey's apparently MODOK. Like, I mean, come on.
We'll see about that one.
Really?
Hey, that's not confirmed, but like, come on, man. It's gonna be great if it is.
All right, let's get to the third piece of news. As Jonah Hill has been cast in another Martin Scorsese upcoming project, as Scorsese is apparently doing a biopic on Jerry Garcia, the singer, of course. Jonah Hill casted in the lead role. I mean, it looks like Scorsese has a lot of upcoming movies. I mean, obviously, last week we talked about we have Killers of Flower Moon, as well as a Theodore Roosevelt movie with Leo DiCaprio, a Ulysses S. Grant movie, also with DiCaprio, and now he's just piling on top of presidents.
He's like, this is my goal for life.
Yeah, exactly. But are we buying this news or are we selling this news?
Buy. I mean, I hate that I'm not selling anything on the show today, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, Jonah Hill gave one of his best performances in The Wolf of Wall Street, and it's probably because of the director that guided him there. And then of course he's great in Moneyball, and we clearly can see that he can handle drama and comedy. So, and it was a surprise to see because especially comedians doing drama, a lot of times they have that ability to have, range, but.
You're Robin Williams.
Especially those guys, like the Apatow bro gang. I didn't expect any of them to show that. So when Jonah Hill showed that, I was impressed. And I look forward to that. And I don't even care for the Grateful Dead much, but I have a feeling Scorsese will change that.
Yeah, I'm not much of a deadhead. I'm not much of a deadhead. But I will buy this because one, Martin Scorsese. And I also I'm happy that he's very prolific, but I'm just happy that there's a lot of stuff like that's coming down the pipeline because he's old, an elderly man, and I want to see more of his stuff as time goes by. But also Jonah Hill is just a great actor, and Wolf of Wall Street. I love watching to see Steve Bannon. Like I love watching that scene when he gets like really high. I don't know why it makes me laugh very hard.
Like when they're both on drugs.
And when they're both on drugs, and he's like, poop, poop, just like
the best scene in that movie, at least that actually connected to me was the Rob Reiner scene where he's looking over
Rob Reiner is
what they
so
bought,
good in that
and then he's like,
movie.
you spent $30,000 on sides, and he's like, yeah, you gotta get
The sides
sides.
do cure
Yeah.
cancer. Sides
The sides, yes, the sides do cure
do
cancer.
cure
Yeah.
cancer. That's a
Oh my
prostitution
God.
ring, Jordy.
That scene. Oh my God. But anyways, yes, I'm buying this as well. I'm happy to see Jonah Hill in any lead roles. Of course, he's great in his supporting roles, but seeing him as a lead actor is also even better. So I'm happy to see that. And as we end, we're actually, all these pieces of news are connected in some sort of way.
Yeah.
As Don't Look Up has released a new trailer. It also, the first reactions also came out and are pretty positive, actually. People's reactions towards the trailers have been a bit mixed. My reaction has been a bit mixed, but people are saying, at least from the first reactions, that the movie is a hit, that it's Adam McKay's best movie. So are we buying or selling this news?
Buy. Adam McKay's entering a new zone of filmmaker. I mean, certainly stuff like The Other Guys and Anchorman are hilarious and great, but then The Big Short was like, whoa, okay. Now listen, I'm not surprised by that. I was studying at the Second City in Chicago when Adam McKay was on the main stage. I used to watch him perform every night along with like Tina Fey and a whole bunch of other people.
Study at the Second City?
Oh yeah. Well, they pulled him
Holy-
right from Second City to be a writer on SNL. So he made a show there with Scott Adsit and John Glazer and a whole bunch of other people, Jenna Jolovitz, called Pinata Full of Bees, which remains one of the funniest live shows I've ever seen. And you could tell at the time Adam McKay had a lot to say. He was not just like, it'd be funny if I fell down. Like he had thoughts and would do sketches about Noam Chomsky. And, he was a deep guy. So it wasn't surprising to see him adapt The Big Short. And I think he killed it with Vice. I know that polarizes a lot of people, but I think that movie is awesome. And so now it seems like he's going to take a lunatic idea in this movie and bring that sort of that maturity that he's achieved as a director to it. And I mean, good Lord, the casts he's had in the last 3 movies have just been insane. Big Short cast was nuts. And then Vice was like Christian Bale and, Amy Adams and
Amy Adams
right on
was
down.
Carell. Was Carell in that?
Carell was Rumsfeld.
Don
He was so
Yes.
good.
Tyler Perry is Colin Powell. You got all a bunch. Even Alfred Molina is the waiter in 2 seconds.
And now you got DiCaprio and Streep and Jonah Hill and Jennifer Lawrence and on and on and on. It's just I can't wait. It's gonna be great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I am going to buy this as well. I'm glad that we have a fellow Vice lover on the show because there's not many of us, at least in the cinephile community, but I love Vice as well. I mean, it helps that I'm a history buff, U.S. history buff, but I just love that movie in general. I love Bale's performance. I loved everything about that movie. So I'm excited about this. The cast. I was a bit worried. I'm not gonna lie. I was a bit worried when the first trailer came out, and because a lot of the times when you get these big casts, of course, you're like, oh, come on, this is too good to be true. Especially when you see people like Ariana Grande, you're like, whoa. Okay, well, what are we getting here? Like, we don't want another like movie 43 or something. We want an Oscar contender, and so that I don't want to jinx it. Maybe these are just the first reactions. We don't have a Rotten Tomatoes score, a Metacritic score, or anything. But first reactions have come in, and they are positive, which is always a good sign.
Don't listen to vegetables ranking. That's dumb.
But that is going to end the show. I hope you all enjoyed the movie news we covered today. A lot of positivity, a lot of negativity. Hopefully it's all positive, but though at the end of the day, talking about
I think we bought everything. Did anybody sell anything?
Yeah, we did.
No.
I mean, I think all the selling was in regards to the Star Wars news. I think we all kind of sold that wasn't even buy or sell, but all of our selling mentality went towards the Star Wars universe. But that's going to end it. Paul, before we leave, where can everyone find you?
As far as social, at The Movie Guys everywhere, pretty much. And themovieguys.net is where everything new will be popping up and where everything archived currently lives.
Great. And Guy, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at addict_LegoFigs. That is the preferable place to find me.
Awesome. And you can find us as well in the League of Cinephiles on Instagram. Thank you for watching, everyone. We should be back to you shortly with more film trivia, hopefully some Christmas-inspired events, because, we're getting closer to everyone's favorite season. If you haven't
Yes.
already, please like the video, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified whenever we go live, whenever a new Cinemores match comes out or a new movie trivia match comes out. So thank you for everyone for watching. Thanks, Paul, for being here. Thank you, Guy, as always, for hosting with me. Everyone have a nice Sunday. Ciao.